This is on VJ's playlist, and we complete 80 episodes. It's a milestone episode for me, and I'm thrilled to share that I cannot think of a better person to share this milestone with me than my guest today. Joining me for the 80th episode of On VJ's playlist is Megha Raut. Firstly, Megha, thank you so much for joining. You created magic when you played your beautiful instrument, the sitar, for Shawn Mendes as the headlining act on Saturday, 8th of March at Lollapalooza. Thank you so much, Megha, for doing this. And firstly, thank you so much for joining me as we complete 80 episodes. And more importantly, 3 years of On VJ's playlist on YouTube. Thank you so much. How have you been doing?
I'm doing very well, and thank you so much for inviting me for your 80th episode of VJ's playlist. And thank you so much for this great introduction about me. And it was a pleasure and privilege for me to perform for such a big audience with one international artist who came to our country and presented their music. And uh, it was really wonderful experience for me that I could perform our own cultural music and our own instrument with these international artists on such an international festival. Lollapalooza is an international festival, and I was a part of it, so it was a great pleasure for me. And yeah, privilege. It was my privilege, and thank you so much for for inviting me for this interview.
The pleasure is all mine, Megha. I want to begin by telling my viewers firstly that I believe you have been playing the instrument since you were 6 or 9, I guess, if I'm not wrong.
9. Yes, I was nine
Si-
years old when I picked up the instrument. Picked up, I yeah. So this interest grew in me when I was 9 years old. Yes,
Do you remember what led to that interest? What piqued
of
your interest
course.
in the first place?
Of course, very clearly I remember. I was it started in my school actually. I was a little kid and very much interested in music since I was 5 or 6 years old. I was always very much into music. Initially, I was into singing and other instruments, but this very fine morning, one of the assemblies in our school, like full school assembly, I saw one instrument lying on the stage, and when I saw it, it just took my eyes, and it was so attractive. I just couldn't see anything else but just that instrument. And when I heard the performance on that instrument, I was blown away, and I was so much attracted to sitar that I wanted to touch and play that instrument. That's how my interest uh, came uh, for sitar. And then I started learning sitar from the same teacher in my school who introduced sitar in our school. So that was the start. And now I am here where I am. It has been now 20 years that I have been playing this instrument, and I'm still learning and still trying to find myself somewhere there.
It's actually an interesting choice of instrument also that you chose to pursue, Megha, considering that, we live in a particular environment where a lot of the youth today are largely disconnected from traditional Indian classical music. The influence of Western culture and the Western school of music is so immense in our country, and especially when a lot of the youth today, they aren't very familiar also with the you know, local Indian languages. So, in such an
Yes.
environment or in such a scenario, how did you also compel yourself to, of course, the instrument piqued your interest, and of course, you saw that there was somebody in your immediate confines, with whom you could learn this instrument. But it also takes a great amount of motivation to be consistent and actually keep at it, especially when the scenario around you is evolving, and it's very easy for you to get swayed away and distracted in a bit. So how did you keep yourself going?
So, first of all, I would like to tell everybody that I grew up in Delhi. Uh, and it has been 8 years that I am living in Mumbai now. But the culture of Delhi is little different from Mumbai. And by at that time, during when I was 9 years old, it was the Western culture was not really there. It was there, but it has always been Sufi, Qawwali, that kind, Sufi, Qawwali, ghazals, and classical music. That was the zone which was in Delhi most, and also the independent music. But this is one difference I saw, that when I shifted to Mumbai, there was a lot of Western influence coming. Western influence in Mumbai because of international musicians choosing Mumbai as their spot. It was never Delhi so much. We like people in Delhi and other parts of India would travel to Mumbai to see international musicians and coming and performing. I remember Michael Jackson came to Mumbai to perform, but not any other city. So, but still, I remember when I was a kid, still during that time in my school, we had guitar, we had keyboard, we had other instruments, and there were people who would, and there were students who would choose them over Indian instruments. We had sitar, we had harmonium, we had tabla as well, and Indian classical vocals. But how I got attracted to sitar, why I chose sitar was, the main reason was, since I was a kid, I wanted to be different from others always. And where there were students and my friends who would like to learn guitar in school, and I would also try to play, like before sitar. This is all before sitar. So I would try to like touch the instrument and try to play, and I used to play keyboards. I used to. There was a time when I would play keyboards as well in my school. But then when I saw this instrument, this was so unique. It looked so unique. It was there was a calling coming from that instrument to me, that look at me. Doesn't I look different? And I am prettier than guitar. And it depicts our Indian culture. The beauty and the designs and the intricacy, the handicrafts. Especially that. When I saw that, I was like, oh my god, this is so beautiful and this is so unique. And why not picking up an Indian instrument, because I am an Indian? That is my identity. Why should I play guitar? I mean, I can learn guitar later if I really want to, but why not sitar? Why guitar? Or why keyboard? Why not Indian instrument? And that was the first instrument I ever saw, actually. I'm not kidding. Indian instrument, other than harmonium and tabla. So I chose sitar. It was, I think it was meant to be. it was That was the only choice I had, and I chose it. And later in my life, I saw other instruments, sarod and um, santoor. But still, now when I see other instruments and I see sitar, I still think that, oh, sitar was the best choice I made for myself, because I think the personality sitar has and the personality I have, it goes with each other.
Of course, we are going to do a deep dive about how you, bagged this opportunity of performing with Shawn Mendes. But before we get to that, Megha, a little about your learning. I've been, for our viewers who are watching, you have learned the instrument under the tutelage of a very prominent name in the independent music scene in his own right, somebody who has been playing the sitar himself for many years, Mr. Purbayan Chatterjee. But you've also been learning
Yes.
from your gurus, Pandit Madan Shankar Mishra and Mrs. Deepti Mishra. So tell us about this guru shishya relationship that you share with each of your gurus.
Okay. So, my first teacher, my first guru was Mrs. Dipti Mishra, and she was my inspiration, because she was the first person I ever saw playing sitar. So, seeing her, it uh, it was really special relationship between her and me, because she would push me towards music. She would always make me practice. She would inspire me and motivate to play sitar. And I was like, I learned from her for 4 years, and in those 4 years she pushed me like hell. I mean, I remember there were days, there were days when I would not want to practice, but she will make me practice. She made a schedule for me in the diary and asked my mother that if she doesn't practice on these days, just cross those days and I will check. If she's not practicing, I am going to punish her. And because of that fear, I would practice. But other than that also, I was so much free with her that I would express myself fully. And I was so before I started learning sitar, I was a person who would be in a corner and not speak to many people. I was an introvert, kind of an introvert. I was into studies and more into like just I was a studious kid. I was a geek. And then this lady in my life came and opened the doors for me. And she would express herself and then tell me stories about things, and she will ask me about my stories and about me. That's how I opened she opened up she opened myself opened me. And then she would tell me that, look, if you really want to play this instrument, you have to practice. And I would go to the sitar room every time I get a chance in my class. I would bunk my classes to go practice and go to the sitar room and practice. I was in fifth or sixth standard at that point of time. Whenever I will get a window of even a 15 or 10 to 15 minutes, I will leave the class and I'll go. That's what I used to do. Teachers had a lot of complaints about me that she doesn't stay in class, she goes to the sitar room all the time and practices there. But I thankfully I didn't like I was a good kid, and I was a studious kid, so I would score good and then they won't say anything. So so I was balancing both the things. But yes, at that point of time I did not understand a lot about Guru Shishya Parampara, because I was a kid. But we had a bond. As so there was a point, there were some reasons like she left teaching me. Then I wanted to explore more, and I wanted to get out of Delhi and go to Mumbai and see the world, the bigger world. And I approached Purbayan Chatterjee ji, because I always wanted to learn from him. He was such an inspiration for me that I used to look up to him and his music since I was in college. And he was so different. I would listen to Niladri ji as well. I would listen to everybody, but I don't know what caught my eyes. His music just blew me away, and it got connected to me. I felt that uh, this is something which is for me, and I wanted to learn from him. But I did not have any connections or any contact, like how to contact him. This friend of mine, she had his phone number, so she gave me. She said, "Why don't you learn from Purbayan ji, because you really want to learn from him?" But I told her that I don't have his contact or any email or anything. I don't know how to get in touch, and why would he teach me? He's such a busy musician. He travels every day. And he said that, see, Megha, you are already ready for a no, so why not try as well? So I was like, yeah, there's no harm in trying. So I called him one evening when I really wanted to, like, I was just thinking what to do. Should I call him, should I not? Then I picked up my phone just like that and just dialed the number. And he picked up in two rings, and I was surprised. I was thinking that, okay, if he doesn't pick up my call this time, I'm never gonna call him again. But he did in two rings, and he asked me to send me my videos. I told him straight away that, Purvayan ji, this is Megha Raut, and I want to learn sitar from you. I didn't say any other thing. This was the straight message. I sent it to him, and he was like, okay. He was shocked that suddenly somebody called me and just saying these things. And He said, okay, so I am doing my check-in right now. I am leaving for Canada tonight. Can you send me your videos? And I'll check those videos. If let me see how it goes. So I sent him my videos, and he saw it, and then he replied me after 2 to 3 hours, and I was just waiting for his reply, that what's gonna happen. And he sent me that, Megha, you're playing is really well, and I would like to guide you. See you in Mumbai when I'm back. So that opened the bigger world for me, and I was very excited. And 2017 was the year when I shifted to Mumbai, and the reason to shift to Mumbai was Purbayan Chatterjee, nobody else. So I came to Mumbai to learn sitar, and I never thought that I would be doing these things what I am doing right now. The main reason I shifted to Mumbai was to learn sitar, nothing else.
But it's interesting, Megha, that just wanting to learn the instrument, brought you to Mumbai. But what I want to ask is that, uh, there is a certain kind of, I would say a strive, I would say a determination to really, really wanting something so bad that nothing can stop you away from it, which is what you've tried communicating so far with, how you pursued each and every guru of yours, and, that only brought you closer to learning the instrument. But since you spoke about how you were a studious kid, also, I'm just curious to know if sitar was not on the charts, it was not, if it was not a, among the scheme of things that you wanted to do, what do you think you could have done?
I would have been a doctor. I watch medical series a lot, and I watch anatomies on YouTube a lot. I
I am
see every
tempted to
part
ask,
of
do
the
you like
organs
Grey's
in my.
Anatomy then?
I have, yeah, actually, Grey's Anatomy, one of my favorite things.
This is a bit, sort of sweet and silly of me to ask, because I was just, when you said anatomy, the first thing I was reminded of was a friend who has been convincing me to watch Grey's Anatomy now for 2 years easily. And I have
Okay,
barely
so
managed 2 episodes since then.
okay, so you should, if you are not enjoying that, you should definitely watch House MD on
House
Netflix.
MD.
You would enjoy
Okay.
that. You would enjoy that for sure, because it has humor as well.
Some beautiful OTT recommendations is there, and thank you for that, Mega, because I really like watching a lot of shows, and it's good to know, what your recommendations are. But I believe you have a bachelor's degree in Hindustani music from Miranda House. Is that correct?
Yes, yes,
And apart from that, you've also completed your master's in performing arts from the Delhi University, and you also won a national scholarship, by the CCRT, which is which is an initiative by the Ministry of Culture. Tell us
yes.
more about that. How did these honorates also fall into the scheme of things?
Well, it started when I was 14 years old. So my first teacher, Mrs. Dipti Mishra, she applied for me for this scholarship, which was for kids, which was for junior people from who are from 13 to 18 years old. And
And how
I
old were you then?
remember I was 13 years old, as I said, already. So she filled up this form for me because I was about to get 14, get into 14. So filled up this form for me, but I never got a reply letter back from them. But she checked it with me. Did you get the letter? Did you get the interview letter or not? We did not. I told her that we did not get. And she was here for my lessons and in my house, and she said, okay, but other people have gotten it, and I think the interviews are going on. I said, okay. And then she called them up and checked with them that is my name in the list or not. And luckily, they said that her interview is today. So the same day my interview was, and we ran and for my interview. Luckily, the place was nearby my house, and I had no preparation for that. I didn't know what I'm going to do, what I'm going to play, but I think whatever I knew, I just played. So they asked me, "What do you want to play?" I played my raga, one of the favorite ragas, Bhim Palasi. I said, "I want to play Bhim Palasi," and I played few lines, and then they said, "Okay, your interview is done. You can go." And I thought that I'm not gonna get it, and even she was thinking that, Megha, this is not done, you don't practice. And she was scolding me the whole time, and she was like, you didn't practice, but you didn't play better, that's why they didn't ask you anything. And I was crying, and but I was the only person from Delhi who got it. After a year, I got the results, and it was me who got the scholarship, and I was bewildered. I was like, wow. I mean, I didn't expect it to happen. So I got this junior scholarship, and then I got the senior scholarship as well. I mean, I applied for it, and this is this it's so they give this scholarship to young people to pursue music. And that's so good, that's so amazing that ministry takes this initiative for youngsters to learn Indian arts. It's not just for music, but for all kinds of arts in India. And the awareness is not very much, and people don't know about these things. But I think people will get to know about all these things in coming years as the uh, initiative by government is getting better about the awareness of things. So I think many more people will come up with these scholarships and accolades.
I believe you're also a part of, this very amazing collective, actually, which I believe is one of the very few all girls ghazal collective in India right now. It's called Gayatri's Ghazal Girls, and you play the sitar for
Yes.
them. Tell us more about that.
So when I shifted to Mumbai, as Purbayan ji is married to Gayatri ji, and there was a lot of influence of ghazals in my learning. Still now, because Purbayan ji loves ghazal music, and Gayatri ji herself is a ghazal singer. So whenever I will go for a lesson to him, Gayatri ji will be practicing some ghazal or something, and Guruji would ask me to practice those ghazals on sitar to better my means and techniques for my sitar techniques. And that's how my interest in ghazal grew. And then I would ask Gayatri ji that, can I practice with you? Can I play with you? Because when I started listening to ghazals, it was Ghulam Ali ji and then Mehdi Hasan Saab, and Gayatri ji will push me to learn few ghazals. I mean, listen few ghazals, and Guru ji will ask me to play those ghazals. The first ghazal I ever played on sitar or practiced was Apni Tasveer by Ghulam Ali Khan Sahab. That was the task which was given by my Guru ji. That, and now when I think about it, it was one of the difficult ghazals which I mean he could have given to me at during that time. And I didn't know a single thing about that ghazal, but I learned it. And that's how my interest grew, and it was something which was in house. It started in house. Gayatri Di would ask me to play with her, practice with her. And one day she just said, "Okay, let's try to build this band." And I was the sitar player in the band, and Nastya, who is also doing amazingly in the industry, Nastya Saraswati, she's also Purbayan Ji is one of the senior students, and she's doing amazing, playing with Ranjit Barot and Piyush Mishra and everybody. So she's the violin player in the band, and we have Kaushiki Zoglekar in the keys, and Mukta Raste on tabla. So this was a band which was made, and I wish, I really wish that we do more shows with it. But it was really tough for me, especially because sitar is an instrument which is not very easily played with in different scales. You know, if I am performing with a female artist, I would have to play, like, the female artist cannot sing in D, or female cannot sing in C sharp, or C sharp, or C is the maximum limit which they can sing. D sometimes, but not really. And the tuning of sitar is always in C sharp and D, and then I have to transpose to play with them. So it was really difficult for me, especially playing ghazals, because they are so difficult and so intricate. So I have to think differently every time I play a ghazal from a different scale. So I have to change the wiring in my brain, that okay, this is not my sad, now this is my sad, now I have to think it like that. So my muscle memory also changes. So it was, so that was a practice which I always did with Gayatri Di, because she would always sing the ghazals in A or B or C. So in these scales, and never from D. So, and that really helped me for my recordings also as well, because I play for sessions and I play for recordings in Mumbai. I would go there and they will ask me, Sita, will you be able to play in this scale, because it's really difficult? I said, no, no, it's okay, I'll manage. I do it all the time. Even with Sean Mendes, actually, even with Sean Mendes, it was not on the key which we play regularly. It was on the key. It was the song was from A major, so I had to play and transpose it and play.
If you could quickly give us a lowdown about some of your favorite, all-time favorite ghazal artists that you have been following or whose work really inspires you.
Okay, so like guru, like student, Ghulam Ali ji is all-time favorites because of his thought into music. I mean, his compositions are so much based on harmonies and ragas, and the thought is so different that it takes you to a different tangent. It's a whole school of learning. You know, if you listen to one ghazal of his, you can learn so much from that. So one, of course, everybody's favorite, not just mine. Ghulam Ali Khasab is one of the favorites, and Mehdi Hassan Zab, because of his mastery over ragas and putting those poems and the ghazal compositions, and it's so beautiful the way these maestros have done. But in today's time, the contemporary musicians, I love Prithvi Gandharji's ghazal, and Jazim Bhai's ghazal, and of course Gayatri Ji's as well. So these are, and of course Hari Haran ji. Yes, can I forget that? So yeah, these are my favorites. If you will go to my playlist, you can see at least one of their songs. Or if you go to my watch list, you will see that I listens to Prithvi ji a lot, and Jazim Bhai, and Gayatri Di, and in my playlist there is the whole album of Hazari and Kash there, and some ghazals by Ghulam Ali Ji as well.
You know, ever since we saw, many of us saw you performing for Shawn Mendes, you have found a legion of a lot of overnight fans, let me tell you. But I have been bonding with a lot of artists from the indie fraternity about how amazing you were, how spectacular you were, and there was so much confidence uh, in the way you held yourself through that. I mean, it can be overwhelming. There's so many things that are happening around you at that time. But before we get to that, Megha, when I went through your Instagram, I was really pleased to discover, and I sort of hit myself on the back as to why I did not discover this about you a little earlier. But when Ed Sheeran was recently in India for his tour, you had the opportunity of teaching him how to strum a few melodies on the sitar. So much that when netizens saw clips of those surfacing on social media, they hailed him as Ed Sri Shankar. But I want to ask you,
Yes.
I want to ask you, how was that experience? Because whatever little we know or we see about the man on social media or on TV, it's very interesting to know that he's so full of wonder, he's so full of curiosity. So, what was it
Oh,
like interacting with him?
okay. So it was amazing. He is a wonderful human being. I mean, I have seen so many musicians around. He is a true musician. I mean, he uh, he has so much of knowledge, and he has so much curiosity in himself that I you could see it in his eyes, and so humble, so down to earth. And he always keeps on motivating people around himself, and always into a mode of learning, and I have learned this from many musicians and legends and maestros, that if uh, you have this curiosity of learning always, it's gonna take you uh, for so many miles, far, 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 in this journey, and I have been observing my guru, I have been observing Shankar Mahadevan, Zakir ji, and so many people around. I mean, and if the way you talk to them, every second, every minute, they are also trying to learn something from you, and I saw the same energy in Ed Sheeran as well. So we were jamming on his songs, while he was in India this time. He gathered all the musicians who played for his album. So I am one of the musicians who has played in his album, which is going to come out. It's already, the preview of the first song is already
That's
out there.
that's that's big, that's huge, that's great news. So clap, clap, clap. That's amazing. Thank you for sharing
Yeah.
that little trivia with us. Yes,
Yeah.
continue.
So I mean, he himself posted in his one of the posts that these musicians performed in my album. So I got this opportunity to play in his album at least a song. I am featured in one song. Featured as in my sitar has been featured in that song. So it's gonna come out very soon. Even I don't know what's the song name is. So I have met him not just this year but last year, because this project is going on for a long time. So many things are gonna come out. I don't want to reveal everything now, but yes. So this time when we were jamming his songs, As Is Am was the song which we were jamming actually. So after this jam session, he was going to each and every musician in the room and trying their instruments. The last person was me. So he said, Megha, can I try sitar? I would love to play sitar if you're fine. I said, I mean, it's my pleasure if you will play my instrument. So he held my instrument, and then he was just struggling a little bit with how to play it and where to keep. And I was helping him with the postures and everything. But then he was still struggling a lot, that what to play and how to play. I said, okay, wait a second, let me teach you something. And then I taught him this melody. I said, keep your fingers here, strum it like this, then keep this here, strum, then do it like ta 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 ta. And he understood in a minute, and in exactly 2 minutes, he was playing the tune. And then he asked me to sing with him, and all the musicians started playing. So we changed our roles at that point of time. He was playing my sitar, and I was doing his job. I was singing the song. It was fun to see him learning with so much of curiosity. And thanks to him, it was so nice of him that he posted that video on his social media, and he tagged me as well in the post. It was so nice to see that he did that. I mean, not so many people do that.
And of course, I think because he posted that video, which is what led to the opportunity of you getting
Absolutely.
to collaborate with Sean. But what is interesting, and I learned this in one of your recent interviews, only post the performance, that I mean, you and Sean had never interacted before you went live on stage to perform, for his set. How does
Yeah.
this whole, how did this whole collab actually fall into place, Megha?
Okay, so as because of this video with Ed Sheeran, the producer of Shawn Mendes, who is the guitar player of his, Zubin Thakkar. He followed me on Instagram and he reached out to me, and we were just chatting like that, just a normal casual chat. And he mentioned that he's gonna come to Mumbai, and I said that's so amazing. Are you? And then my question was, are you guys going to perform in Lollapalooza? Are you coming for that? He said yes, we are. And then the next morning, I got a call from him that would you like to play for our set? We are very keen and interested to put a Hindustani classical part in one of the songs of his. So, and then he sent me the song that was Youth, and he briefed me that what they are looking for. I heard it and I played around and I practiced with the song, and that's it. And we were straight on stage. The next thing was that I just knew the part where I had to play because they told me, and they briefed me that what exactly they want me to play, like not exactly but what kind of playing they're looking for. And I just played according to that, and I sent them an audio of what I'm going to play, what kind of sitar playing I'm going to do. So they were happy with it, and that's it. And then straight up, I was on the stage.
But y'all did not meet together for a jam, like a pre-session
No,
jam, nothing?
no. So we had a sound check a day before, but Sean was not there. So it was just with the guitar player and us. So we just played just like that with the track. But Sean again was not there, so I didn't know like what he's going to do, how the energy is gonna be. So I met Sean just before the concert, and it was just for a small time, very brief time, around like 1 or 2 minutes, because he was also running around checking with everyone, and I was also getting ready. And I reached Mahalakshmi race course late because of the traffic, of course. I mean, I had to reach half an hour before, but the traffic was so bad. I mean, oh God. So because of that, I was late and a little late. But thanks to I mean, thanks that my brain worked at that point. I did half of my makeup in the car, and then there I was just getting ready quickly. So yeah, I was in a hurry, and I met him when I went outside to get some water. I saw him, and we spoke a little bit. He saw me, he recognized me. He said, "Hi, Megha, so nice to see you. I'm so excited to perform with you on stage." And I said, I'm so looking forward to play with you as well. And he said, you are looking amazing. I said, thank you so much. And then that's it. He went to his room, and then I went to mine, and then we met on the stage straight away.
That's really interesting. But what do you have to say about the outpour of love and appreciation that you have been receiving since your performance? Because suddenly it feels like, including myself, everybody has is only asking one question: Who is this woman? Who is Megha? And of course, that I mean, my curiosity has led to this interaction today. But how do you look at all the love and appreciation that's poured? People are. I mean, there are publications there. Of course, Sean also pretty much took a clip of that performance and posted on his socials. But how do you? How have you been able to process this whole uh, outpour of
So,
praise that's come your way?
so it's surreal. I never ever thought of something like this happening with me. I thought it might happen, but it will be like more planned or something. I always thought that I will plan things, and then things will happen. But I mean, sometimes the best thing comes when you don't plan anything. That's what I have learned in my life. One of those is that. So after all these posts and things, and I have been getting a lot of appreciation and lot of love and lot of inspirational messages. Girls and youngsters who are learning sitar are messaging me, and they are saying that we so look up to you. You are an inspiration. It really fills my heart with joy that I could inspire at least a few people to uh, to I could motivate them to take this up and think that they can also do something like this. And uh, and it has given us so like it's so I after all this happened, especially my guruji Purbayan ji, he was so happy about me because um he also, I mean, the first person who knew that this is going to happen was him. I told him that this has happened, this Shawn Mendes, like the producer, has called me and he wants me to play with him, and he was so happy. So he has been guiding me all throughout, that what I should do, how I should be there, how should I present, and what should I do after this. He has been telling me since the day that look, Megha, things are coming to you. Maybe there are some reasons and universe is watching something and it's coming to you, but just stay where you are, keep doing what you are doing, because because of the things you are doing, it's coming to you. So just keep the way you are, keep yourself the way you are, and you will be getting more and more things. So yeah, he's the guiding light, and he has been guiding me throughout. And while I'm getting this love and appreciation, he has been telling me that all this is good, but just forget everything now. It's all good. You have to
All this
keep
is
forgetting.
noise. All this is
This is
noise,
nice.
all this
So
is distraction.
yeah, you have to keep forgetting to make more space for new ones. So that's what he keeps on telling me, that see, things come to me as well. I see this, I have been seeing this throughout my life, so this is from my learning that I'm telling you this. So I listen to him, and I'm trying to process things, and coming back to where I was and what I was doing already. So because it's like a bubble for me, it's like a bubble for somebody. So you have to burst that bubble to make more bubbles. That's what I think, and that's what Guruji has been also telling me, that you have to burst that bubble to make more. So yeah, if I keep myself in that bubble always, I think I will be stuck there. So I mean, it's amazing. It's an amazing feeling. I never thought that something like this will happen overnight with me, but yeah, it was. I was very happy, but I will be happier when I will come up with my own projects and my own thing, and people will appreciate those as well. So I am looking towards that now.
Well, more power to you, Megha. Although you have given us a slight tease about the fact that you are featuring in an international project, and it will feature, sitar instrumentals, courtesy you. But you also featured with your, in your Guru's EP, in Purbayan's EP, Classic Cool. But apart from that, do you have any new projects with Indian artists, or is there anything that's, you know, upcoming and it's there in the pipeline that you would like to tell us about?
Okay, so I have been working on few of my singles. I mean, one single I have been working on for sure. I'm hoping it to release very soon, because when it is a collaboration, you have to see other people time as well. So sometimes I am busy, sometimes that artist is busy, so we are not able to make it. But it's gonna come out very soon. One of my singles are gonna come out. I am planning to make an album, but I don't know. That is too ambitious for me, because I think it's too ambitious for me to make an album straight away, because I have not released even an EP in so long. And then I am planning to release my classical videos very soon, classical music videos more and more, because I want people to see the other side of me as well, because I think people see me as a fusion musician a lot more than a classical musician. I want to present my classical musician side as well, so that people see that I have a balance of both. I love pop music, I love jazz music, I love all kinds of music, but my heart is into classical music. And that's my root, and that is the reason that these people are collaborating with me and they called me. That's what I think.
Amazing. Megha, lastly, before we conclude, this is one of my favorite questions. I like asking artists because I do believe in the spirit of collaboration. I do believe in the spirit of community. You're now almost everybody's preferred artist or favorite artist right now, post what everyone saw at Lollapalooza. But in the meanwhile, when you are sitting by yourself, unwinding after a very long day and listening to music at leisure, who are some of the Indian independent artists that you follow and whose work you really admire?
Okay, so Indian independent artists. I listen to Shakti a lot. Shakti band, Zakir ji's band, and that is my one of the favorite, and also my Guruji's band, because Guruji's albums, his independent music I listen to a lot, and also I listen to Bhumi album. So those are my, and all the independent, and one of my favorite, and he's my friend actually. So this guy Mohit Bharti is one of my favorite independent musician who is in our generation, and he's an amazing person and an amazing musician. And I see him going somewhere, mm, more from where he is right now. So he has a lot of caliber, and I love his music. So these are the music which I listen to when I want to listen to. And my favorite albums are like Unbounded, and This Moment is my favorite album. And then the other favorite album, and Dil Kya Kare by Mohit is my favorite song. So yeah, these are in my list always.
Amazing. Megha, this has been such an enlightening chat. And firstly, once again, thank you so much for taking the time out to speak to me for On VJ's playlist. It's my 80th episode, and I couldn't have asked for a better guest to, commemorate this journey with. So thank you so much for being so gracious and lovely and to have graced the show with your presence. But I wish you all the very best for everything that's, in store for you in the future. And may you grow by leaps and bounds.
Thank you so much, Vijay, and hope to see you very soon in person. I want to meet you once I'm back in Mumbai. Right now, I'm in Delhi. You live in Mumbai, right? So
Yes.
I would love to meet you someday, and we can have a chat face to face.
Absolutely. I'm all in for that. Thank you so much. And to our viewers who are watching, thank you so much once again. And thank you for having followed my channel and for having been with me on this journey for almost 3 years now. As I mentioned, and at the risk of repeating myself, this is my 80th episode, and I promise to bring you amazing stories and inspiring stories of your favorite artists in the episodes to come. Thank you so much for watching.